Hi, I'm Big Foz and welcome to my channel Courier Life. Today we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of how much it costs to start up your own courier business. I've made a list of all my personal expenses, from everything from a van to tools that I use in the van to actual work I've had to do on the van, and fuel costs for a period of time until you actually get paid. So these are personal to me, so they're not necessarily going to be the same for you. So take that as you will, but these are under no circumstances the exact costs for everybody. So for instance, if we start at the first one, a van cost. So you can pay £60,000 for a van, you can pay 600 quid for a van. But in the beginning, when I decided I wanted to be a courier, I took out a loan. I secured a loan for £10,000. Naively, I thought that would be enough. So as we go through the figures, you'll see that it was actually nowhere near enough. Now the other thing is, I managed to secure the loan in around about May of this year, and it took me until September to find a suitable van. It's just so difficult to buy a decent van nowadays, and the prices have just skyrocketed up. I think because of COVID. I think so many people have bought vans to do them up as camper vans and stealth campers, and it's just increased the cost of vans. In fact, it got to the point where I was looking at vans on Auto Trader and eBay, and you could pay £4,000 for a van that didn't even go. But anyway, so to cut a long story short, I managed to secure the vehicle within my budget in August, and I paid £6,000 for a 2011 plate Ford Transit, long wheelbase. And I say long wheelbase is about 3.3 metres, so it's between a medium wheelbase and a long wheelbase. It's got a medium roof, and it had about 170,000 miles on the clock. Now if you put that into one of the comparison sites to see how much your vehicle is worth, it'll tell you that that particular vehicle is worth about £3,000. So I think at the moment van prices have just doubled. Because of COVID and people doing vans up, you cannot get a decent van. It's very difficult. But anyway, so moving on, I paid £6,000 for my van. To get insurance for that, just your normal road insurance, to do courier work. So to be legal to drive that van, to do the business that I wanted to do. Because there's different insurances for different businesses. If you want to be to do house removals, for instance, that's a different insurance again, or an add-on. Depends how you look at it. So, and I know people are going to say, why did you spend that much? You can get it for this if you go there, or blimey, that was cheap. Do you know what I mean? So, but this is what I actually paid. So, normal insurance, £1,600 to have the correct insurance to go on the CX. Shocker. There's a bit of a backstory to that as well, because originally I took out a cheaper insurance with a different company, and when you get all your paperwork together and you upload it to the CX, this particular vehicle insurance that I had at a cheaper price wasn't suitable for the CX rules and regulations. So I had I had to get it changed because they couldn't change the wording on the policy. So I had to cancel that insurance and go with somebody else who was a little bit more expensive. And it was the insurance company that I think the CX recommend. They're very good, but they're not the cheapest. So £1,600 for that. Moving onwards, so there's other insurances you need. You need public liability insurance. In case you have an accident and you manage to, they want to sue you. So I paid £400 per annum for that. Again, these are ballpark figures. I may have rounded it up. It may have been £383, for instance. So I've just rounded it up to 400. Goods in transit insurance. So if you have an accident and you damage the load you're carrying, was £100. So I was quite surprised at that. But again, you could probably get it cheaper, or you may be paying a little bit more. Van tax, road tax. For my particular vehicle, £275 for the year. They're all roughly about the same, unless you've got an electric van, and it would probably be free, but mine was £275 a year. CX subscription. So this is what I paid as of September 2021. I've rounded the numbers up or down slightly to make life easy. £1,600 for a year's subscription, and that's the basic package. I think they advertise it on their website for £99 a month. So if you add all that up, add your VAT and add a joining fee as well, it comes to approximately £1,600. The gentleman I signed up with, though, he gave me, I think he gave me either 2 or 3 extra months on top of that. So I've either got it for 12 months or 15 months, or somewhere in between. I can't quite remember what. So we'll go through this. I'm not going to add up in sections as we go. I'll just give you the total figure at the end, because again, like I said, I've got it all printed out on paper. There's actually 2 sheets of paper. So that is the basic thing I needed to purchase the van, get it insured, and join the CX. All those figures I've just told you. Now, on top of that, because I'm used to staying out all week, because I used to be a lorry driver, they call it tramping. So I needed equipment so that I could look after myself food-wise in the van, and actually sleep in the van when it's empty. So some of the figures we're going to go through next may not be suitable or appeal to you, or you may not have to purchase them at all if you're just going out for the day and going back home every night. So because you can do local runs, you don't have to stay away. You can do local runs all day. So I'll just run through these quite quick, and I know some of you might be going, how much you can get it cheaper? Yeah, I understand that. I understand, but this is what I've paid and what it's cost me. So sleeping bag, £70. Hammock hooks. So if you've watched one of my earlier videos, I hang the hammock up in the van. So I've got special hooks, swivel hooks for the hammock to hook into. They were £40. The hammock itself, it's just I think it's a double size. It's just a garden one, but it suits me fine. That was £25. So I put that all down as bedding. We're moving on to office supplies next, because if you're working on the CX or as a courier, you do need office supplies. So a date stamp and ink pad. And let me say again, most of this was off of our friends Amazon. So, it's all readily available. It's not difficult to get. So yeah, back to date stamp and ink pad. That was £30. On some of the CX jobs, you need a date stamp for the POD. You can get cheaper ones, but the one I got I like, so I might have paid a bit over the top for it. Yeah. A business stamp. So this is what I use for my filing system, and actually I got it off Big Beardy. So thumbs up to Big Beardy, because I follow his filing system. I think it's great and easy to follow. So folders I paid business stamp I paid £15 for, and that's just a stamp that's got copy invoice paid or late, and you just stamp the CX invoices with it, which is really good. Folders, £20, so that's what I keep all the paperwork in for my invoices that are currently unpaid and paid. A van checklist, so sadly every day I fill out a van checklist. So if I do get stopped by Vossa and they ask me what checks I'm doing, I've actually got a book so I can show them. It's like walk around checks. So I paid £12 for that, a single one, and it's got about 100 sheets in it. POD books, I've got a combination. I think I've got a 5-pack, the smaller ones, and I think I've got one big POD book, and those two together come out at £26, which is quite good. Other stuff I've put down as various, so like a stapler and other things like that I've put down as to include computer ink and stuff like that, 50 quid. So that's what I've got for office, so that's another little section. Cooking facilities next, because like I said, I need to be able to cook food if I'm staying out rather than eating junk from the services and things like that. Occasionally, I'll go do a chippy or whatever, but I do tend to use the cooking facilities that I've installed in the van. So what I've actually got is 2 leisure batteries, an inverter and a microwave. So at least and a kettle. So at least I can make hot food and have a hot drink. So fuses, I installed it all myself as well, so I didn't have any labour costs on that. So cooking facilities, fuses for the system, £22. Electric terminals for the system, £25. The inverter was £120. Now I got a 3,000 watt inverter with a peak rate of 6,000 watts, which should be ample to run the microwave. But I think it was a cheap Chinese one and it's not doing very well. So I might have to get another one. I paid £120 for that. That sounds like a lot of money, but when you look at inverters, they're not cheap to get. But anyway, I might have to buy another one. Batteries, so leisure batteries, I've got 2 big, I think they're 110 amp hours each. So I've got 220 amp hours, paid £140 for the pair of those. And microwave, that was £30. Okay, so that's my cooking facilities. Again, I'm not doing a running total, I'll just give you the total at the end because it goes up and up and up and up. Tools. Now this will be different depending on what you want to do. So if you want to do just house removals, you're just probably looking at straps, blankets, ropes, bars and things like that to secure your loads. I do general haulage, so I can carry a pallet of bricks or a glass case or anything except ADR and except house removals, because I don't do those. So I'll just go through them quickly. Phone holder, 20 quid. Tow strap, if you've watched my previous video, that's the blue strap for pulling the middle pallet out so a forklift can get on it. That was £13. Fuel can, £39. Blankets, I have got blankets because I do the occasional bit of furniture, £25. I've got a torch, a wheel, wrench, and LED spotlights I installed as well. I paid £65 for all 3 of those. The rack and track I've got in the van, and the ply and the ratchet straps, £300. See, when you think about doing this job, you don't think of things like that. You just think, oh, a tenner here, a tenner there. I must say everything I've bought has been new, apart from the tools I've got in my toolbox and my toolbox. So everything I've got in that van is, I'd say 90% of it is brand spanking new. So a lot of this equipment you might already have and might not have to buy. But yeah, so when you're thinking about doing courier work, first of all decide what type, because you might just do refrigeration work, in which case a lot of these tools and equipment you're not going to need. So you need to think about what you're doing. And we're on to the second page now. And there's bound to be some things I've forgotten after this. But anyway, moving on, ancillary other, so for stuff I may have forgotten, I've put £60. Moving on to PPE, now you might say, what do you want that for? If you're doing courier work, why do you need that? Well, a lot of the times you've got to go on building sites. They won't let you on without steel toe caps and hard hats and high vises. RDC centres, or you can have different coloured high vises for different RDC centres. So the basic stuff, I've grouped that all together. It includes boots and everything else, £300. Again, you could probably get it cheaper. Now, a cost I've added in, which a lot of people don't think about, is fuel. Okay, so again, this will vary depending on the price you pay for your fuel. But you've got to realise when you start, most of the work you do, you're not going to get paid for 60 days. Because it depends when you start. If you start on the first day of the month, say first day of January, for instance, you're not going to get paid for that job until the end of February. And every job you do through January, you're not going to get paid for until the end of February or later. Occasionally you'll do a job where you get paid in 7 days or 30 days from invoice, but the majority is 30 days end of month is the terminology they use. So that means when you get to the end of the month, so again, we take January. So when you get to the end of January, it's another 30 days before you get paid. Some jobs end of month 45 days. So that would be 2.5 months you're not going to get paid for. And occasionally you get end of month 60 days. So if you do a job on the 1st of January, you're not going to get paid to the end of March. Okay, so you can imagine the amount of fuel you've got to put in your van to keep going until you get paid. Again, that is something, hold on a minute, oh no. Again, that is something I didn't really think about that much, because I thought I would get enough jobs, because occasionally you'll get a job that pays either the same day or within the week. I thought I'd get enough of those jobs to keep me going for that. So believe it or not, so for 60 days, approximately, very approximately £2,000. £2,000 for fuel before you get paid. The other thing, and this is a big one, and this could have closed the whole business down before it even got a chance to get going, is repairs to the vehicle. Now bear in mind I bought this one in September this year. Sorry, I've been running it since September this year. I actually purchased it in August and I fitted it all out the last 2 weeks of August. So I've only been driving it since September, and already, are you ready? So since September, new clutch, £700. Again, I've rounded it up or down. Wheel bearings, haven't had the bill for that yet, so that's to come in. Prop shaft bearings, haven't had the bill for that yet, that's to come in. It also needs a full new set of brakes, and to include the discs and brake pads. The cheapest quote I've had to that is £400. Again, I've rounded it up. And it will also need another service. So that's £400. If it wasn't for my wife, I'd be in right stuck. it's a good job she had some savings. So if you're going to do this job, please take these figures as somewhere near accurate. Whether you think they're high or low, at least have this amount to keep you going. And maybe a bit extra for unforeseen. Because if my van was unrepairable, I need more money to get another van. Anywho, hazard a guess to what all that comes to? I got it on the paper. Bum, bum, bum. And I know that's probably backwards, but I'll probably try and turn it round when I edit the video. So, as the thumbnail says, how much? Cheers, I hope this has been helpful. This is Big Foz, Courier Life, signing off. Have a good one. Bye. See you next time.